Suraj once again in front of you to help. Today I have brought an interesting story from class 11 which is a one part by Eudora Welty. This story has presented the value of our love and affection towards our family members and relatives. This story has taught us a serious lesson that our love and affection towards our family members and relatives has very significant place in our life. This story has also taught us about the value of our family and our responsibilities. Our life, our duties, our responsibilities, our obligations from birth till death depend on our relations. This story has also raised some important questions for all of us. How much love do you really feel for your family members? How much responsible are you for your family members? To which extent do you move yourself for the sake of your family? Family, relatives play a very important role in our life. Without family, without relatives, this life itself seems bizarre. A one part is an interesting story which deals with an old Negro woman whose name is Phoenix Action. This story is all in all about her difficult trip to the town of Nazi Hospital and all her obstacles which she has faced on her way. Phoenix Jackson has taken this difficult trip to the town of Nazi Hospital for her one and only grandsons. The condition of her grandson is not good right now. He has been suffering from severe throat pain for some days. He is feeling difficulty while eating and breathing. Actually, he had eaten the mixture of water and air some days before. That's why he is suffering a lot. To comfort him, Phoenix has taken this difficult trip to the town of Nazi Hospital. Now let me tell you first about Phoenix Action. Who is Phoenix Action? Phoenix Action is the central character of this story of one part. She is quite old, black-colored woman who lives in the countryside away from town. In the name of relatives, she has one and only grandson at home. They are only two alive here in this family. The economic status of Phoenix Action is not good. She has taken this difficult trip to the town of Nazi Hospital to bring free medicine bottle for her grandson. The physical condition of Phoenix Action is not good. She is quite feeble. She usually carries a cane stick to walk. Her face is completely wrinkled with blue eyes. Her vision is also not good. She often wears a red cloth to cover her hair. She usually wears an apron-type dress which seems dirty. Her shoes are quite old and dirty. Most of the time we find her talking with herself. It is a kind of monologue that we usually see in old people in our locality too. Old people keep on blaming, complaining others in no reason. Similarly, Phoenix Action keeps on talking with herself most of the time. Here, she is much more worried about this trip, which she has to accomplish at any cost for the sake of her grandson. While walking through the jungle's way, too, she keeps on abusing the wild animals not to get on her way front. She even brandishes her little cane to threat the animals. Now I'm going to tell you about all those obstacles she has faced on her way to town. She starts her journey on a very cold day of December. From her house, she has to move through the jungle's way to reach the hilltop first. The way is quite slippery. She moves on very carefully and slowly. Here also we find her abusing the wild animals, swinging her cane. She moves on ahead slowly and very carefully. In this way, she reaches the hilltop. After reaching there, she stops for some while, she looks behind and even sighs finally. Now, she has to go down through the pinewood forest. The way is quite slopey. Here also, she keeps on walking very carefully ahead. She abuses the wild animals here in pinewood forest too. Whenever she sees a slight movement in the bushes, she shows her cane. Unfortunately, she is entangled in a prickly thorns. She struggles much to get rid of prickly thorns. Being angry, she abuses the prickly thorn, saying that you don't let me go home. This line is spoken by Phoenix for prickly thorns. After getting rid from prickly thorns, she abuses the thorns and even cries for losing her time. Later on, she again continues her journey very carefully. When she gets down on lowland, she is quite panicked. She becomes too much afraid to see a creek in front of her eyes. She loses hope. She thinks about the possible ways to cross the creek. Gathering some courage, she steps ahead to cross the creek, but later on becomes afraid and steps back. Finally, but luckily, she gets a wooden log just over the creek. She stands on the wooden log. She closes her eyes. She moves on ahead very carefully, tapping her cane on the wooden log. In this way, she crosses the river. When she crosses the river, she looks behind. She becomes too much happy. She even admires and congratulates her, saying that I'm not quite old as I think. After crossing this river, she decides to rest. She rests under a big tree. Within a second, she falls asleep and dreams. In her dreams, she sees a black boy along with a cake in his hand. She stretches her hand to receive the cake. She even utters a line while dreaming. She says, here in this situation, this cake can be accepted. All of a sudden, her dream ends up and she wakes up. Realizing the value of time, she gets up too quickly, again continues her journey ahead. After walking for some while, she faces her next obstacle as barbed wire fence. She becomes confused. She thinks about the way to cross the barbed wire fence. After thinking much, she lies down on the ground and starts scraping her hand. By dragging her body slowly and very carefully, she crosses the barbed wire fence. After crossing the barbed wire fence, she wipes out the dirt from her cloth. She stops there for some while. At the meantime, a vulture comes from somewhere and sits on the branch of a leafless tree. She looks at vulture and in a very teasing mood, she says this is not right time for a bull or a snake to come. You better try next time. She means to say that cold seasons are not for snakes to come. Snakes are mainly seen in summer season. She even adds that she becomes too much happy when she does not see two-headed snakes. After talking with Vulture, she again continues her journey. She walks through canoe in the maize and cotton field. She does not get her proper way ahead, so she walks randomly. All of a sudden, she cries loudly, saying that, "Oh, ghost!" to see a scarecrow in front of her eyes. She keeps on asking the same question in a panic way. Who are you the ghost of? Who are you the ghost of? But scarecrow remains silent. After some time, she touches it and inspects it very closely. And she realizes it as a scarecrow. Finally, she laughs and says, "You scarecrow." She leaves the scarecrow behind, again continues her journey ahead. After some time's walk, she climbs a bit ascend. She reaches the subway, where there are huts or cottages. When she passes the cottages, at that time, again she speaks a line. When Phoenix is moving toward her destination, everyone is sleeping. In this way, she moves ahead. Later on, she drinks sweet water in the spring. She even passes the shallow waters where she sees head top of the alligators in the water. She even asks the alligators to sink down and sleep, play with bubbles. After some time, she reaches the main way. where she is attacked by dog. She struggles much with that dog. She tries to hit the dog's head with her cane, but unfortunately she falls inside the ditch. She remains just as a beetle inside the ditch. She tries to get up, but she can't. A bit later, a white hunter comes there. Seeing Phoenix in this state, the hunter laughs at first. Later on, Hunter helps Phoenix action. Phoenix thanks him for his unselfish help. The hunter asks her many questions. For example, where does she come from? Where she is going right now? Phoenix replies every answers of his question. Later on, Hunter insists Phoenix Jackson to go back home. Phoenix Jackson becomes too much angry with Hunter. She denies. A nickel drops unknowingly from the pocket of Hunter while taking his handkerchief out. That nickel drops on the ground. Phoenix sees that nickel. She slowly steps over that nickel. At the meantime, Hunter's dogs start fighting. Hunter leaves the place. He moves there to separate the dogs. Here, Phoenix bends down slowly and takes the nickel from the ground and puts into her pocket. While taking nickel from ground, a bird flies just over her head. Phoenix feels quite sorry for her mistake. She apologizes in front of God for this theft. She believes that God has seen her stealing the nickel of Hunter. After some time, Hunter comes there once again. He insists Phoenix to go back home, showing his gun. Even he asks, "Don't you fear this gun?" Phoenix replies in a very smiling way that she has seen such kind of guns many times in her life before. The hunter becomes quite happy to see courage of Phoenix. He even addresses her as a granny. He praises Phoenix Jackson for her courage. Finally, both of them depart. At last, Phoenix reaches the city area. The city is quite attractive due to the lights in the Christmas time. Phoenix sits on the pavement. She calls one of the fashionable ladies who is carrying Christmas present to her home. Phoenix asks her to tie up her shoelace. That fashionable lady ties up the shoelace of Phoenix very happily. Phoenix thanks her. Later on, Phoenix moves toward the hospital. After climbing the stairs, she reaches in front of reception desk and she sits there. The attendant in the receptionist desk asks her too many questions, but Phoenix remains silent. She forgets each and everything. She forgets the purpose of her vigil. She does not have any idea to speak. Nothing is in her mind. Everything is erased. But after some time, a nurse appears there. When she asks about her grandson's conditions, Phoenix remembers each and everything. She states that the condition of her grandson is still not good. And even she says that she does not have money to buy the medicine. Finally, she gets free medicine bottle from the nurse, and even she gets a nickel from attendant as a Christmas present. After leaving the hospital, Phoenix plans to buy a paper windmill for her grandson. In this way, she again continues her journey back to home. Here in this text, Phoenix is compared with Egyptian mythological bird Phoenix, whose lifetime is 500 years. During the interval of 500 years, that bird burns itself and turns into ashes. It recreates again from the ashes and lives for 500 years. Here in this story too, Phoenix loses hope, Phoenix becomes afraid, Phoenix steps back many times. She loses consciousness many times. But later on she regains her consciousness. She becomes bold. She remembers each and everything and accomplishes her journey. So in this way, phoenix is compared with Egyptian mythological bird phoenix. So here in this story, the most important questions are: what are the obstacles faced by phoenix during her journey to the town? Phoenix proves the unconscious heroism. How? Why does Phoenix take this difficult journey to the town of Natje? What is the real condition of her grandson right now? What does Phoenix do when she is attacked by a dog? How Egyptian mythological bird Phoenix is compared with Phoenix action? So thank you for watching this video. I hope that after watching this video, you will get clear knowledge about this story. It will help you again in your examination too. So thank you very much. We will meet again in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.